If you had to decide today where to invest your time and your energy to be the best future you, where would you invest it? What do you think is the secret to happiness? Did you know there was a study done at Harvard that's over 85 years of following people, finding out what makes them happy? That's quite a study.
The secret to happiness. So what has 85 years of research taught us about what is the secret to happiness and to having a good life? There's only 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. And if you had to choose today what to invest your time and energy in order to have your best future self, the healthiest, happiest future you, what would you choose? Let's take a look at millennials. Millennials are a very interesting group. So millennials are born between 1977 and 1995. A recent study showed that over 80% of millennials valued fame and fortune as being their key to happiness. So it is not unexpected at all to find that where the largest representation in the creator economy is millennials. Over 40% of the creator economy is millennials, and the other 60% is divided between Gen X. And Gen X, by the way, is right behind millennials and for different reasons. Millennials are trying to become rich and famous, and they see the creator economy as becoming their path to fame and fortune, whereas Gen X is using YouTube primarily as a way to ease into retirement and find that extra income. So Gen X is right on the heels of millennials in the creator economy, but for totally different reasons. And it's interesting to look at the dynamics there. Millennials feel the key to happiness is fame and fortune, and that's what their primary goal is: making money. Show me the money, as Tom Cruise would say. My heart, Tom Cruise. Don't tell him I said that. What about Gen Z? Gen Z is our second youngest generation. They were born approximately between 1996 and 2015. And what would you guess they value as the key to happiness? Gen Z values mental health more than any generation prior to them. Mental health to them is a key predictor of future happiness. They also value purpose. They are very passion-driven with their purpose. Gen Z is very purpose-driven in what they consider to be the key to happiness and life satisfaction. So throughout our lives, basically, we've heard you want to work hard, accumulate a lot of stuff like a house and a boat, and you want to get these material possessions, achieve more, accumulate more. So it's no doubt that we have begun to assume that the key to happiness is our stuff or our careers. And that is not what science has found. In 1938, Harvard University started a study of over 700 men. That study became known as the Harvard Happiness Study. And the results of that study are not what anybody expected to see. Actually, the study was named the Harvard Study of Adult Development. It became known synonymously as the Harvard Happiness Study. The results of that study are not what anybody expected to see. And the exciting thing is that study is probably the longest study ever done. It started in 1938 and it followed this group of young men from their older teenage years through adulthood and mostly through till death. And then it started to incorporate their families and their descendants, and now there's over 2,000 participants in the study. And they used interviews, and they went into their living rooms, and they talked to their families, and they had medical evaluations, and they really got into the nitty-gritty of what makes a happy, healthy adult over time. It's a fantastic study, and it's what I'm using to show you what science is telling us is the most important thing for happiness. And happiness, it relates to our health and our longevity and our quality of life. And it can have a dramatic effect. You know why happiness is so important? There's this thing in our brains called the negativity bias, and we had to survive by focusing on the parts of the environment and the parts of our lives that affected our ability to survive. And those threats, those negative things, were what our brain learned to focus on. So even news nowadays, advertisements, the things you remember on a day-to-day basis, you give more weight biologically in your brain. Your natural tendency, called the negativity bias, is your tendency to focus on the negative. Your body is more comfortable focusing on the negative because that's what you needed to survive. So you actually have to learn to be happy. You have to learn how to overcome that negativity bias because it can overtake you. You all know that it's easier to spread rumors and talk about negative stuff than to find positive stuff to talk about. It's just easier because you're programmed that way. But being happy, being positive, and all of those things center on one key factor.
You would invest in your relationships with others.
Good, healthy, productive relationships. That's what the Harvard Happiness Study found. Learning how to have those healthy relationships is the key to a happier, healthier you in the future. Here's the key takeaway. Happiness isn't about what you have. It's about your relationships. It's about how you see the world and how you nurture your relationships. The Harvard study shows us that good relationships are the key to a good life, but negativity bias often gets in the way. The good news is that we can train ourselves to get past that negativity bias. Start small. The next time that you find yourself getting fixated on an argument that you have with somebody or something that's really annoying you, make a conscious effort to ask yourself, is this thought what I really want to focus on? Or can I find something positive to focus on and retrain that brain? We got this. So in the next video, we're going to look at loneliness, how to recognize it, strategies to prevent it, strategies to overcome it. You're not going to want to miss it.